Follow your heart. Be beautiful. With Dr. Melanie Petro.
And I'm a facial plastic surgeon in Birmingham, Alabama. Tonight, thinking about beauty. What makes someone beautiful, and what does it mean to be beautiful? Is it your face? Is it your lips? Is it none of the above? So I started looking at definitions of beauty because there's this podcaster and author that I just really admire, and she was talking about what is beauty and why is it that people that have a few wrinkles can't just get over it, and is it really that big of a deal? Like, is it just because someone said it's a big deal? And it really got to me because my work, my life, my passion is beauty, and seeing people, especially women, happy with how they look, I see how it changes their lives, because being beautiful and feeling beautiful, or at least not looking in the mirror and thinking, gosh, who's that, is inherently a huge part of everything we do every day. And it's those qualities that when you are at an airport, as someone pointed out to me today, and people quit helping you with your luggage. I mean, some things just are. And there is certainly an expectation in the world we live in, and there's certainly a difference in how people feel that they're treated and how they feel about themselves when they feel like they look old or tired. And it's real. And there's so many things that we wish that we could change in the world. And I probably have a really long list compared to most, but some things just are. But I don't think that we have a good definition of what it means to feel pretty, to feel beautiful, and what that definition really means. I mean, we all know that girl that, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I guess I am, that, you're like, why do you like her? Like, I had this boyfriend in high school, and I mean, the girl that he liked sat next to me in French class, and by the way, I will never be her Facebook friend. Please stop sending your requests, because it'll never happen. But she wasn't. I thought, come on, do better than that. Give me something to aspire to. But what was it about her? And was it, that smiley type, those people that just smile all the time and they're happy, that most of us, they love being pregnant. That girl that I'm talking about. That's definitely not me. But there's something about a confidence that you feel when someone walks in a room, and these girls, and you've seen men just act even more ridiculous than normal about them. And what is it? Is it beauty, or is it confidence? Is it walking in somewhere I hear you, Gabe, everyone hears you, you just own it? And there's so many different definitions of beauty. There's beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and with that, it's beauty on the inside. But it's more than on the inside, because it really has to do with how you feel about yourself. And is it that how you feel about yourself can be so powerful that everyone feels it, and everyone feels your confidence? Is that what makes that twinkle? Is that what really brings things to you? Is it that kind of confidence that really brings you a true happiness, that then sends out the vibrations, the energy, and that is what brings you to what you really need in life. I definitely think that when I have patients that have been told you look tired, or their grandkids have said, why is all the skin on your neck, and I do a facelift, I always ask, like, has anyone asked if you've had a facelift? And for the most part, people don't notice. I mean, if you do a natural facelift, then no one should ever say, have you had a facelift? That's never the goal. But the changes that happen on the inside are that the infusion of confidence is profound. I mean, it's just fun to watch. It's like a peony that like starts out, that's my favorite flower, you know, they start out in that little ball and they just burst into bloom. And one of my favorite stories is this lady that thought she saw her mother, because so many of y'all, like, you think that you see your mom, like you look in the mirror and you think, I look like my mom. And then women are so sweet and so kind and feel guilty that they don't want to look like their mom, because they, for the most part, love their mamas. But they start to see their mom in the mirror, and it's like, wait, I'm not ready. I don't feel old inside. I want to look like I feel. And this lady was walking in a department store, and there was a column, and she literally almost walked into it because she thought that, like, she was meeting her mom, and she thought that was her mom. And I mean, in all fairness, that would just never happen to a man, you know, like they would never, like, ever do that, because they see themselves as, like, they might think it was like their son. You know, they almost have that reverse body dysmorphic disorder where they think they look 12 or 18, whichever one they like better. But for women, like, there's so much of your life, like being a mother it's a sacrifice, and you put someone else's needs above your own every day. And then so many of my patients have parents that they take care of, and you give so much of yourself to other people that you lose yourself, and you lose that part of you that feels like the real you, the essence of who you really are. And it's not intentional. It's like the sweetest thing in the world. I mean, how many people can give so much of themselves that they have nothing left to give to themselves? But we all do it. I mean, we do it for different reasons, but it's such a beautiful thing. But at some point you look in the mirror and you think, is that me? And you find yourself in this crossroads of, gosh, do I go do something about this? Like, this extra skin in my neck, like, it can't be making me unhappy, because that would make me vain. That would make me bad. That would make me feel terrible to go spend this time and money on myself when there's all this to do. And how do you make that okay? Because it is okay. And for me, I see people and women in that dilemma, and I know that there's a way to explain it. Like, beauty is, or feeling beautiful is so much more than waking up and looking in the mirror and having less wrinkles. It affects everything you do, especially because aging tends to make you look tired or sick. It affects your energy. It affects what you put out. It affects your desire to just try new things, to try something you may be wanting to do. I mean, it starts and stops with confidence. And I mean, for me, I'll always go back to that wretched girl in my French class, and because I just would look at her and think, oh, you know, but what was it? I mean, she was like one of those smiley people. And, you know, we all have that I really need to get over that, by the way. I really definitely don't let go. It's definitely my biggest fault. And I'm not hateful. I just think that there are always these women that you look at that seem to have this life. Now, whether they do or don't, but that people think or talk and about in such a favorable way, and you just don't get it. But they're always those smiley people. And so there's something to be said for that. And there's some people just can do that, no matter how they look or how they feel. But there comes a point where your outside doesn't match your inside. And sometimes things are backwards. Like, fake it till you make it. Someone I love very much has always said that to me. And it makes more sense every day. And it's like sometimes you don't feel like doing something, but it's the right thing to do. So you just take a deep breath and you fake it till you make it. And sometimes just the act of doing things can create a pattern that then makes you feel better. And you're in a routine of eating the right things every day, or exercising, or being on time to something that you always felt like you were late to. Whatever it is, like when you just kind of pretend like you're gonna do it and then you do it, it becomes a part of you. And the same thing is true when you look in the mirror and you feel like you're old and you don't look like you feel. There's a disconnect there that truly affects how you feel about yourself and your life every single day. And it affects everything you do for other people. And it's so beyond what you see in the mirror. It's what you feel in your heart. And how those things connect so deeply is not something that that I feel like we need to try to sort through. It just is. And sometimes you make yourself look more like you remember, and you start to get in touch with the parts of yourself that you feel like you lost. And when I hear people say, well, you shouldn't do Botox, you shouldn't have a facelift, it's vain, there are just some people that connection is more real to than others. And there's some people that smile all the time, even like in French class. There's some people I'll never be friends with on Facebook. That's just life. And life's a beautiful thing, and you've got one. And if something bothers you and it makes you feel better, or it makes you feel bad and you want to fix it, it's so precious and sweet that women struggle with it, because we really, really, really want people to like us, and we really want people to agree with us and to understand us. But there is a true power in deciding, this is what I want, this is how I feel, and I need absolutely no one to affirm that decision and to make me feel good about it. And that's powerful. I mean, I was probably 15 or 16 when I decided I wanted liposuction, because someone told me I had thunder thighs, and I really did. And then I found out Chrissy from Three's Company, y'all might know her, Suzanne Summers, had it, and I felt so deceived because I'd had her thigh master forever. And I went to somebody and ended up having it. But that was like, I told my grandmother, and God, I love my grandmother. Like, she was the kind of woman that could look at you and you would like have aha moments just by her gaze. Like, she was such a powerful, spiritual, most amazing human on earth. And when she looked at me, and I told her, and I said, but I can't tell Mama, because my mom, in spite of being married to a surgeon, she couldn't be more against surgery. And she doesn't want to go under the knife, and she would have really freaked out. So I couldn't tell her, but I told my grandmother, and I said, Gran, because she didn't want to be called grandmother, so I called her Gran. I said, what should I do? She said, well, it's affecting your life. And when something affects your life and you can change it, you do. And if I'd had one wish, it would have been to have done my neck. This was before I was even in residency. I was about to start medical school. She said, so I think you should do it. I said, well, what about Mama? And she said, I'll handle your mother. But she was right. It was for whatever reason. Every time I went in a dressing room, every time I put on jeans, I was on the dance team, every time we put on our costumes, like, it affected me on a deeper level. And fixing it gave me a confidence that it didn't make me want to, like, do everything else. It just made me feel really good. And sometimes that's what you have. And maybe explaining that connection or making everyone in the whole world understand that connection doesn't matter. Maybe it just is what it is, and you embrace it and you live your life to its absolute fullest, and you know that you don't have to get the approval of everyone else. I mean, that's such a female quality, and it's really a beautiful quality, but it's also very limiting. And limits are for teenagers. Like, they're not for grown women. So I'm not telling you to go get a facelift, but I am telling you that all of us have to do this. We all have to have these moments in our lives where we think about what really matters to us, and we realize that it's just us, and that while we are mothers and we have careers and we have families, we also have ourselves. And getting so lost and caught up and losing sight of what really matters to you is bad enough, but you go through those phases, no question. But then getting convinced that what you feel isn't right is wrong. And that's up to us. It's up to us to stand up for ourselves and stand up for what we believe in, and to live our lives with an absolute conviction to have the very best life, to experience everything we can, and to let nothing hold us back. No boundaries on happiness and life. And some things you just can't explain, but they are so beyond skin deep. They're deep. I hope y'all have a great night.